Hey everyone, so today we're going to work on a 2-point perspective drawing. So we've just got done with 1 point. So just to review, you know that with 1 point perspective we have one vanishing point and everything leads to that 1 point. So now the difference with this one is obviously there's 2 points with 2-point perspective. Okay, so we're going to be drawing a 2-point perspective cityscape. Trying to hold this for a minute so you guys can see. So you see her 2 points. There's one here, and there's one right here, okay? And I'm going to explain how you get to those points and how everything lines up in just a minute. I want you to kind of be able to maybe take a screenshot of this. I'll try to upload an example of this as well. I have a little bit better example, but I can't find this, but this will work for now. Okay? So, this is what we're going to be creating. Obviously, the bigger the paper you have, the better, but do what you can. Okay, so 2-point perspective. First thing, if you look at this artwork, you can tell she has a horizon line there. And it's in about the center of the page. It doesn't have to be exactly in the center, but I tell people about the center. So, I would practice this in your sketchbook first before you start drawing on this big piece of paper. So you can get the idea of where everything goes unless you've done a lot of 2-point perspectives before. So draw a line down the center, okay? And then come in a little bit from the edge and draw your point. Same thing over here. Draw your point, okay? In the center here, you're going to draw a vertical line going straight up and down. Leave a little bit of space at the top, so you see I'm not going all the way to the top. And leave a little space at the bottom here. You see how I don't bring it all the way down and I don't take it all the way up. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. Okay. Then this is pretty simple. Take this line right here, these 2 points, and connect them to these points. So you want to use a ruler for this. I'm not going to use a ruler, but you need to use a ruler. So connect this to this point, to this point. So it should look kind of like a diamond. Okay, now make sure you're drawing light because now we're going to go back in. We want to erase inside of that diamond shape. We want to erase this line. Okay. So that's what you should have for right now. Okay. So 2-point perspective, I think, is a little easier than 1 point because you have more points for things to go to, but you have to make sure you're going to the right point, okay? So if it is on the right side of this middle line right here, everything lines up to this point, okay? Everything. Same thing over here on the left side. Everything from here over on this left side is going to go to this point. With me? I'm going to show you here in just a minute. So, next thing I want you to do is start to make your buildings. You can vary them in size. You can do it as many as you want. I'm going to draw a couple here. You kind of get the picture. Okay? Pretty simple so far. I'm eating a minute, so excuse me. I keep smacking my lips. Okay, so now here's where we get into more detail. So we said everything on this side goes to that point. So the tops of the doors that you're going to draw in your little buildings, kind of see hers right there, okay? Use your ruler, line it up to that point, and draw the tops of the doors. Now, this is where you have to be careful or your doors are going to look like they're leaning. Do not draw your lines like this. See how you can tell how that door is leaning in comparison to this door. Does everybody see that, hopefully? I know you're not really in class, so I can't ask you that and you respond, but you see how the way I drew these lines straight up and down, okay, and this line going back towards that point makes it look like a door Unlike this one that makes it look tilty. Unless you're doing something that's abstract or it's supposed to be kind of fantasy looking, but you need to ask me about that first. It should look like this door, okay? Let's go back. Okay, so I'm going to draw my doors in on this left side. Straight up and down. Okay? Same thing, mine are leaning a little bit, but you'll get it's not leaning too much. Same thing over here. Tops of the doors need to match up to this point right here, okay? So if we take our ruler and draw the tops of the doors, okay? We see how if we took a ruler, obviously mine's a little off, but they kind of lead our eye back. Same thing here. Draw those lines straight up and down. If they are not matching this line, they're probably not going to be straight, okay? So if you're doing this, you can tell that these are not matching up. That's not right. Okay. Same rule applies to any kind of windows. Try to bring this a little closer. The same thing applies to windows. You can see hers are a little off. Yeah. You did actually look on this side. Hers are a little off in these buildings, but you can still tell that they're trying to lead to that point down there, okay? Titles of store names. Everything has to go back to either of those vanishing points. Even her clock here, the bottom and the top, even though it's round, goes back to that vanishing point, okay? So, if you want to add in a store sign here, the top and the bottom have to go to that point. These go straight up and down again, okay? And you can put the name of a store in there, okay? Same thing over here, but reversed. Hopefully this is slowly making sense if it hasn't yet, okay? If you want to make double doors, you need to make sure that line in the middle matches that point. And this will go straight up and down, okay? However you want to do it. Okay? Same thing for windows, like I said. So, how I think it's easiest to do windows, different people like to do it different ways. If you want to do like a glass building, like she did here in the center, you can just draw the lines and connect them. If you want to space them apart like that, I would take your ruler, kind of similar to what we do with the lockers. Line your ruler up. Like if you want to do them on, let's say you want to make this an apartment building, you know, get your lines, top and bottom, kind of get everything squared away. Okay, and then take these straight up and down. If you want to make the little window thing like that, that middle part, these aren't exact, but that's good. Should be lined up to that vanishing point, and then these would go straight up and down again. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Same thing on the opposite side. One. Straight. Here. This one's almost on the horizon line, so they're pretty straight. Okay? Everybody with me so far? Okay? Now, the next two parts is where it gets a little tricky because you are actually going to go to the opposite vanishing point. So let me show you that here. So, to make your sidewalk, okay, you see how she's got a nice little sidewalk because you don't just hop from streets straight to the stores, especially if you're in a downtown area. You know, there's even in stores that are not in a city, you still have some kind of entrance way. So we're going to make a sidewalk. So take this line back here, or take this dot back here. Just kind of bring it forward. Okay, use your ruler. Same thing over here. If you want to extend that line now, you can. Some people do, some people don't. I'll leave that up to you. So now, if you want it, when you want to draw the lines in the sidewalk, okay, you're going to go to the opposite point. I'm going to demonstrate that here, but you're going to go to the opposite point, because here's the problem. I'm going to show you on this side, on the left side. If you just go in and draw these lines, okay, your sidewalk is going to look like it's leaning or like a fence has fallen down, okay? That's why you have to go to the opposite vanishing point, okay? So this is wrong. Don't just draw random lines or it's going to look warped and it's not going to be the right perspective. You're going to take your ruler. If you want to start your lines here, line it up across. You see how I did that? I came here, got my ruler. Probably should get a ruler so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I've got my ruler. Okay, starting over here on the left side to do the right sidewalk. Okay, so I'm going across, got my line. Okay, I'm going to line it back up. Obviously mine's not perfect, but you're starting to kind of get the picture, hopefully. Does everybody see the difference in why this is wrong and how this makes it look like a flat sidewalk? Now, if you want to go in and be a little more fancy, you can add another small line. Okay, bring this straight down. Make it look three-dimensional. Now it looks like you step up onto the sidewalk, like how sidewalks kind of have curbs. That's fine. This is wrong. No, no, no. This is right. So you want to go to the opposite. So same thing on this side. Come to this vanishing point. Come back across. We see that difference there? This was our original line. Okay, this right here was our original line. This is our new line. So don't just go in and line it up with these buildings because it's not going to look right. You have to go. Okay, sidewalks. Go to opposite vanishing point. Okay, bring that closer. Sidewalks, oops, go to opposite vanishing point. Okay, now I'm going to show you another trick. Let me see her. Yeah, her example has it perfect. Okay. Erase some of this. Okay, so you are welcome to leave your buildings to be all the same height. That's okay. Some people like that. Some people don't want to go beyond that. Perfectly fine. Works for me. However, if you want to add a little something to it, the middle building right here is a little hard. You can make some buildings beside it smaller or taller. But it's kind of hard to change that center building right there. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So you see kind of, oops, over here. You see kind of right there where it says State Farm. You see how she's got that little piece right there to kind of show that this building is taller and kind of sits beside this building. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're still using the opposite points here. So I'm going to make this building, this apartment building, I want it to be a little taller. So I'm going to, kind of similar to what we did in the columns with one point. I'm going to extend my line. Okay. Everybody see that? Let me do it in a different color. Maybe that'll help, especially if you're watching this. I'm going to take that line and extend it. Okay, bring it a little closer. These 2 points, point 1, point 2, Still have to match up to that vanishing point, so it's going to be pretty angled. Okay. Everybody with me? I wouldn't draw this line right here, but I'm just showing you that it needs to go back to that point. Okay. So now we've got our building extended upward. So now when you need to connect it back, you're going to go to the opposite point. All right, so we see our right side point over there. Way over here. This has to match there. Everybody see how I did that? Okay. These lines go straight up and down. This line connects back to the same side vanishing point. So we're on the left side, so it's going to go to left side vanishing point. But then when we connect the building back to the other buildings, it's going to go in the opposite direction to the opposite vanishing point. Okay. Then go in, erase this here. So you make sure you draw light, because if you don't like it, okay. Now we see that this building is taller than the building beside it and this one here. Okay. You can do rooftops. Most people don't, and I normally help people with those on an individual basis. So if you want to do that, we may need to set up an additional Zoom, or you can email me some images, or you can send me a video of you doing it. That's probably would be a good idea, so I can see what the technique you're using, and then I can maybe help you from there and strategize if you can't get on Zoom. Let me think. So you need to fill the page as much as possible. It needs to be fully colored. In addition, you can add another sidewalk here. Lines still need to go opposite. Okay, you can make a road here. Same thing over here. If you don't want to add another sidewalk, you can just do a road. You can do parking spaces. These still need to go back to that vanishing point. Everything's got to line up to those vanishing points, okay? Maybe you want to make like a park over here. Maybe you want to draw a little bench. Okay, see my bench though. Still matching those vanishing points. Okay, it's a little wobbly, but you get the picture, okay? Don't do stupid lollipop trees. You guys are better than that. You're not in kindergarten, okay? If you're going to draw a tree, draw it right. Bushes, things like that, okay? You can get as creative as you want. You can add a pond. You can add water. Some people have made this like a gate, and they've had like water over here, okay? Like when you're walking, if you've ever been to like Savannah or the beach or anything, you kind of walk along the streets, but you see the water. It needs to be as large as possible. This is 18 by 24 paper, so if you have that or able to get it, that would be wonderful. Remember, you guys can still come in and pick up supplies if you're able to. I'd be happy to send a couple pieces of paper home with you so you have it. Needs to be filled. I don't care what store names you do. They just have to be appropriate. You can make them apartment buildings. You can make them restaurants. You can make them stores. You can make them anything. I want you to be unique. I want you to have fun with it. You just got to make sure everything lines up to the appropriate vanishing point. I'm sure there's other YouTube, or there's some YouTube tutorials that may break it down for you a little bit more. Don't copy a two-point perspective. It needs to be your own original idea of a two-point perspective, but I don't mind if you reference buildings or other two-point perspective drawings so you can kind of get an idea of maybe how you want yours laid out. If you have any questions, email me. If you're not sure, we can set up a Zoom. You can email me. You can send a video of yourself doing it, and I can help you if you feel like your technique or something's off. Today, I'm planning on these being due at the end of the week. If not, if we need an extension to the following week, we'll kind of debate and discuss that as we go along, okay? Have a great day, guys, and work on your 2-point.